Tigers haven't played for close on a fortnight. And after last night's results, this is the way the table looks right now. Wigan, with their victory over the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, they're on top with 13 points. Bradford will leapfrog them if they win here, but the incentive for Castleford is, if they win, they will gate-crash the top 5, and Saints, the reigning champions, will be out of the top 5 tonight. The Tigers emerge, and this is their team. Gay is the fullback, Wells, Eager, Mather, Rogers, Orr and Lennon at half-back. Up front it's Sykes, Raper, the captain, and Hanford, Shaw, Fritz and Harlan. And the substitutes, Sampson, Flowers, Thompson, Smith. The coach is Stuart Raper. And the Bulls, Withers, Vicona, Mackay, Gilmore, Price, the 2 Paul boys. And the forwards, Banganer, Lowes, McDermott, Bradford, Peacock, Forshaw. And the substitutes, Anderson, Sykes, Parker and Fielden. The coach is Brian Noble. Significant absentees for Bradford. Here's the referee, by the way, Stuart Cummings. But the significant absentees for Bradford, Spruce, McAvoy, who hasn't played this year, Deacon, Rigon, Gartner and Naylor, they are all out. While for Castleford, there is no Mitch Healy and there is no Adrian Vowles. That could be the key to a Bradford victory, but we shall see. Steve-O, fatigue for the Bradford Bulls must play a part, surely.
Well, you would think so. 3 games in 7 days. It is a big ask. And our guest yesterday, Brian Noble, he wasn't all that confident. He said he has a lot of players on his side that are battered and bruised.
The kick-off, underneath the kick-off is Michael Withers, and we're underway here at the Jungle, which is bathed in sunshine tonight. A lovely spring evening here in West Yorkshire. A little bit chilly, it must be said, but having said that, it's a pleasure to be in the sunshine and not sheltering under the umbrellas, has been much of the case this year. Lee Radford with that drive for the Bradford Bulls. They have first use of the football in possession there with Robbie Paul. He pops it back to Brian McDermott. It's good tackling though here early on from the Tigers.
Good stuff from Castleford. They're moving off the mark very, very quickly. So important, of course. We saw last night Leeds really got into the faces of the St Helens forwards. They capitulated. Will the Bulls do exactly the same?
That's a glorious kick though from Henry Paul. It's a 40-20. He's claiming it. There was a shout from referee Stuart Cummings. This will be head and feet, I'm sure, to Bradford, and it is. So this is a glorious opportunity early. What a kick from Henry Paul.
1 foot over that mark there, and that is a magnificent start. Just what the doctor ordered. They needed that. They want to build on confidence. Stuart Raper, of course, realizing that and hoping perhaps that Bradford may tire, especially in the second half. And it's important now that the Tigers get their solid defense worked out.
Henry Paul gets the possession from the base of the scrum, takes over, finds Withers, and Withers drops it. And that is a huge blunder on the very first tackle. And Castleford will certainly be breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Well, it was a good set move there.
That was a high
nice
shot from Mike Forshaw.
Didn't miss him either.
Gareth Hanford felt that. Gareth Hanford, once upon a time with the Bradford Bulls, joined the Tigers in the close season. And welcome back from Mike Forshaw.
A nice little gift, wasn't it? You could see that the strapped arm there from Forshaw made big impact. Quickly spotted by the official, rightly so. But that mistake there from Withers, he took his eye off the football. He had it in his hands and then was looking more at the defence rather than looking for his support play.
Not a terrific penalty from Danny Orr, but Castleford playing into the teeth of the wind that is blowing from left to right as we watch here this evening, and Henry Paul using that wind to good advantage for the 40-20.
Well, I'm sure that wasn't unnoticed by Stuart Raper. They'll have the advantage, the Tigers, in this second half.
This is Barry John Mather now, midway inside the Bulls half of the field. Lennon hands the ball on to Danny Orr. Lovely little chip over the top. Darren Rogers is quick, Michael Eager is quick. Vicona's behind his own try line. He's trapped. That's a wonderful chase from Castleford.
Leading the way, Lee Harlan, the loose forward, and Danny Orr. Well, these were the tactics that certainly served Leeds last night. And look at that chase. They're really up for this one. Expect a big game from this fella, Danny Orr.
He was getting such a good understanding with Mitch Healy, but Healy out injured. Here is all. That ball went backwards, fortunately for him, straight through his arms. Rogers picks it up, but a great understanding developing with Mitch Healy. Healy sadly out this evening, and so too Adrian Vowles for Castleford, but far more injuries and problems for Bradford after their hectic week, beginning of course 7 days ago today with the disappointment at Twickenham. This is Lennon. He was almost through, but then the huge figure of Bangana came in and clattered the little half-back to the ground. Fritz gets the ball away to Barry John Mather. Mather did well to flick that ball back into the field of play. He was on his way out and over the sideline, but the Bulls' defence is marshalled. Robbie Paul and Mike Forshaw. Now it's with Castleford again in the shape of Danny Orr, and Orr hanging off, finding Eager. Great tackle though, all wrapped up there by Graham Mackay.
Had to be, that was the try saver from the big fella Mackay.
This is the last tackle, that's why the kicks come in. They're looking for Barry John Mather out wide, but it was Leon Price who got to it, and he knocked the ball forward, so it's going to be a scrum down here and head and feed to the Tigers.
Big call there by the touch judge. I think you can see there on the replay that Leon Price definitely got a fingertip to it. Beautiful chip right over into the corner. Causes a lot of problems. Good jump from John Wells. And it's difficult for this fella.
And of course the sun is shining over the top of the stand here, so as that ball came out of the sky, it was probably difficult to see for both defender and attacker. Anyway, here is Richard Gay on the charge for the Tigers. It was fed there by Lennon. This is a great opportunity. Lennon again, back inside it goes to Darren Shaw. Great tackle by Mike Forshaw low down. Aaron Raper trying to pitch one.
Ooh, so close as well. Good tackle there by Joe Bangana.
Danny Orr, wide to the tall man, Barry John Mather. And Mather is held up just short of the line yet again. This is intense pressure from the Tigers. Richard Gay. Good defence though, good scrambling defence. Danny Orr again. Mark Lennon takes over once more. Here now is Lee Harlan. He finds Michael Eager. Eager puts the kick in. Henry Paul is there. Henry Paul backs himself, but again, he's trapped in the in-goal area.
Beautiful work there from Eager, realising there was no way on the outside. The power couldn't get to him, and then he finishes him off in the end. Well, the tactics are right. They're keeping this ball alive, not just by passing, but also ensuring that the kick is swinging the Bradford defence from one side to the other. They're trying to tire the Bulls out as quickly as possible.
2 goal line dropouts forced by Castleford in the opening 6 minutes, and the referee has stopped the clock because Bradford were in no hurry. And that's sliced, and well, that was terrific play in the end from Henry Paul, thinking all the time. A sliced goal line dropout, and it fooled the Castleford Tigers. And the Bulls now will get head and feed here.
Not so sure he meant that. It came up trumps in the end. He'll take it.
Well, his reaction afterwards was that he most certainly meant it.
Now can they keep possession? Remember from the first scrum win, they dropped the ball, it was Withers, but they've got through the first tackle.
Henry Paul takes that tackle from Danny Orr and Richard Gay. Here is Mike Forshaw, probably the Bulls' best in the Challenge Cup final at Twickenham last week.
Without doubt. Run himself to a standstill.
Jamie Peacock now. There's Brian Noble, the Bradford Bulls coach, who was our guest at Leeds last night for that remarkable win by the Rhinos over the Grand Slammers of Super League. They've got everything, St Helens, but they haven't got the points from Headingley last night. Can the Bulls go back to the top of the table here? Graham Mackay, once upon a time with the Leeds Rhinos, now with the Bradford Bulls for the second time in his long career. Lows with the kick.
Mark Lennon certainly had him worked out. He's such a big fella, isn't he, Graham Mackay? There's only one way you can tackle him, that's go low onto the legs.
John Wells takes the tackle from Henry Paul and from Lee Radford. Here's Richard Gay, now with Darren Rogers. He took on Brian McDermott, but the big Bradford prop forward stood his ground. And that ball has come out. What happened? It was stolen. It's a penalty to the Tigers. He doesn't look too impressed, the Bradford coach, and neither does his player.
Well, that's the second occasion they've been in a dangerous position. There's little doubt that McDermott certainly had contact with that football. 2 occasions, 2 opportunities thrown away. One a mistake, and this occasion a penalty. Allows the pressure off for all the Tigers.
Yes, they will restart now with the little tap. And the ball from Aaron Raper is fed in. Castleford with 2 penalties. 8 minutes of the match gone, and Nathan Sykes taking over and driving it forward for the Castleford Tigers. Nathan Sykes playing his 200th career game tonight. Mark Lennon, Danny Orr. Danny Orr just drops his shoulder and spins away.
That ball back to 6.
It's back to 6 it is. Hanford, he's got support from Richard Gay forward.
Ooh, that's a big call there from Stuart Cummings. Neat play though by Hanford, the prop forward. Pretty difficult to see from that angle, but this will be better. Yeah, it looked as though it was going back, but actually it was just a touch in front. Disappointment for Stuart Raper. He knows how important that first point would have been. Neat play though by the prop forward. Nice to see the big fellas turning in the tackle and trying to offload.
Well, history is very much against Stuart Raper's Castleford Tigers. Just 1 win in 11 Super League meetings against the Bulls since 1996. But they do have the edge in past meetings since 1973, remarkably. 28 wins, 25 defeats and a couple of draws. But that owes much to pre-Super League results.
And to be fair, both these sides, every time they meet, they usually serve up a real treat.
They do, and they're trying to serve something up here for us tonight, without a doubt. Forshaw, Bradford keeping the ball alive. That's the last tackle, though, 12 metres from the line.
Again, good defence. Pretty solid, nice switch there from Lowe's.
Henry Paul with a kick through, it bounces off the knees of Haaland. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Good chase by the loose forward.
He was very slow, Jamie Peacock, there.
Haaland trying to keep this ball alive. It's bounced untidily, but backwards, fortunately for the Tigers.
Certainly made a play of it. And Haaland knew that he had to get that ball.
Richard Gay takes the tackle, now operating in his former international role at full-back. Nathan Sykes, good tackle low down by Jamie Peacock. 10 metres inside the Bulls' half of the field, eager. Off it goes to Sykes.
Well, again, we see Castleford very eager to keep this ball alive, swinging it from side to side, and that again should... oh, that's an awful pass, but that's play on.
It was off the bottom of Gareth Hanford. It's on the last tackle. Richard Gay with a chip over the top, but straight down the throat of Lowe's. Here comes Michael Withers. Good tackle by Aaron Raper.
Well, Stuart Raper, the coach, won't be happy with that. The fullback, Richard Gay, it was a nothing kick over the top, when really they should have been punching the ball down into the corner. They've already done that twice. Bradford have had to have 2 dropouts.
Leon Price gets the ball away to Lee Radford. And it's now Castleford's turn to defend. Forshaw with the run. He spins and passes to Vicona. To Vita Vicona, the big Tongan international. A hat-trick against Warrington on Wednesday. Bradford now 10 metres short of the line with Jimmy Lowe's. On the last tackle here, Lowe's will get to his feet and play the ball eventually, which he does now. Robbie Paul. Henry Paul. Mackay out the back door. Henry Paul. Great try.
Oh, there was a real big forward there, missed by the official.
But give credit to the beautiful backhand pass from Mackay to Henry Paul. And the try is awarded. Bradford have a 4-point lead.
Well, it was a good pass from Mackay, but it's the one that goes to Mackay that's the problem. You just watch this. Oh, that looked forward. He couldn't utilise momentum, but good work from Paul. He did the link around. He's the man that passes the football. Oh, that's about a metre forward. Not surprisingly, the Castleford players were screaming at the official, especially the touch judge on the right-hand side. But Henry Paul has opened his account.
He has. And he has a great record wherever he has played.
Can he keep this record going now? Consecutive kicks, Eddie?
Yes, I was just about to mention that. Henry Paul. 3 goals at Twickenham, 8 out of 8 against Warrington, 35 in a row. And it eclipses what a lot of people claim to be Darryl Halligan's 30 in a row, a world record, some say. And he is another New Zealander. Referee Stuart Cummings not happy. that Graham Stedman is on the
kicker,
field.
you know exactly what you're doing. If you run across there again, I'll put you down the tunnel. Right, well, you stay out of the way.
He ran across as Henry Paul was taking aim.
Well, you try everything. Sometimes you get away with it.
And of course, Graham Stedman is a former goal kicker himself, isn't he? And the referee, Stuart Cummings, says, I know exactly what you're doing. And so I think there's Graham Stedman. Well, an important kick here for Henry Paul, not only in the context of this match, but maybe in the context of rugby league history. Can he kick this one? No, he's just missed it, so the run ends. Henry Paul's run ends at 35 in a row, and he will claim the new world record for that mark.
Well, we'll see the high shot again, and watch Henry Paul offload. Oh, yeah, he's half a metre in front.
And there's Graham Stedman. Stuart Cummings wasn't going to be fooled by that, but Henry Paul maybe was just put off sufficiently.
Sadly, it was probably one of the worst efforts I've seen from Henry Paul. Well, maybe he did put him off. Either way, they've salvaged 2 points. It's only 4 instead of the 6.
Hanging kick-off in that breeze, it just wouldn't come down for Lee Bradford then. This is Lee Gilmore.
Well, it's a tremendous boost for the Bulls. They're on the board first, psychologically. That will certainly lift them.
But Castleford can take heart from the fact that St Helens did exactly that last night, and we know what happened then. We shall see. Peacock.
Here we go.
14 minutes of this match gone. Here's Graham Mackay, a real powerhouse figure for Leeds Rhinos in Super League 5, trying to do the same now for the Bradford Bulls, his new club. On halfway, the kick from Henry Paul is claimed by Barry John Mather. Oh, and he didn't know that Leon Price was after him. Nobody gave him a shout.
Well, lackadaisical there. Ball could have been dislodged quite easily. Oh, good work from the fullback. Going far too high there, the Bradford defence. Good chase, though, by Leon Price.
This is Michael Eager now for the Tigers.
Now, the big question for the Tigers is that they don't want to be sucked into a forward battle. If they're going to tire the Bulls out, they've got to keep them running off their feet.
Raper at dummy half. Nathan Sykes taking on Henry Paul, but halted on halfway by a combination of Paul, Lowe's and Vangana. That's the last for the Tigers, this set of 6. Here's the kick coming in from Orr. He puts a bit of beef behind it. It bounces kindly, though, for Tavita Vaikona.
Good position by the winger there, and that's a good chase.
And Withers is trapped. Shaw got the ankle tap on him. This is Vaikona again. Not the best pass, but on the bounce to Robbie Paul. And here's Radford again. The Tigers with the Devil's own job in the end to pull Lee Bradford down. A great game from Bradford from all accounts against Warrington on Wednesday. He was unlucky to miss out on the cup final 7 days ago.
He's a talented forward. He loves nothing better than to play just off the fringe and sometimes outside of his centres.
Good defensive set here from Castleford, restricting Bradford to inside their own half, but there's the possible 40-20. And Henry Paul trying to slide it down that side, but collected by John Wells. He passes it inside to Richard Gay.
You could just sense a little bit of hesitance in the Bradford chase there. Maybe they are just feeling the pinch somewhat. It really is a big ask to for any athlete to turn out in 3 heavy contests within the space of a week.
And presumably, while St Helens were celebrating, the Bradford Bulls were drowning their sorrows on Saturday night. Here comes the Tigers again in the shape of Hanford, and penalty for offside, quickly taken by Raper. He's stinging all the while.
Ooh, went high there, did Withers.
Knock on against Withers, nothing else.
He got him on the shoulder. I don't think it was in the face.
That's a good tackle.
Yep, knocked the ball out as well. Well spotted by Stuart Cummings. Maybe that's settled the balance as far as the Tiger fans are concerned, who give Mr. Cummings the bird. or what I think was a forward pass when Henry Paul scored the first try.
Mark Lennon feeds the scrum and gives it then to Danny Orr. It goes wide to BJ Mather. Tall, long-striding centre, Mather, returning after missing the win against Halifax a couple of weeks ago. This is Danny Orr now, offloading to Dale Fritz. And Fritz trying to scramble himself away from Lee Radford, but Vangana was there as well. Now it's with Lennon. Here is Darren Shaw. Darren Shaw taking them on. Peacock stood his ground. Lee Harland. Good tackle by Peacock again, working hard at the marker position. Ball's come out, knocked on.
Big smile on Henry Paul. And the mistake by the loose forward. And he just lost it.
Here we go.
Lee Harland began at Leeds, but he was signed by John Joyner 6 years ago.
Been a good servant to this club.
Henry Paul, dummy to pass to Leon Price. Unfortunately for the Tigers, Richard Gay wouldn't be fooled, but here comes Price now.
Desperate lunge there by Harland.
Penalty. Hand in at the play of the ball. Harland and Hanford also in attendance there.
Silly penalty to give away as well. They were trying to force Bradford deep within their own half.
It was Hanford who was penalised. This is Brian McDermott now. McDermott's 300th game for the Bulls came against Warrington. He started all 13 this year, which is quite remarkable really, when you think that there are men like Anderson, Fielden, Vangana and himself vying for the two prop forward positions. Robbie Paul, Henry Paul, saw the gap. Harland spun away from him, he got the ball away to Withers. Withers missed by one. It's a little bit alarming for the Tigers, they're missing the tackles. Mackay, such strength from Mackay, and it took two to bring him down. Bradford are 3 meters away from the line. Robbie Paul, Jamie Peacock. Peacock trying to force his way through the defenders. That's the last one. Lowe's spins the ball back to Robbie Paul. Wide it goes to Henry. Further wide to Forshaw. And then wide and on the bounce to Leon Price. Not the best kick, but he reclaimed it himself. That's a knock-on by Mather.
Well, why he had to do that is anyone's guess. He was on the last. It will now be another set of 6 they've got to absorb. Really no need for it. He could have just stayed in his line of defence and allowed Leon Price to make sure he got that ball away and let the defence do the rest. A touch of fortune there for the speedy winger Leon Price.
The referee is having a word with the water carriers, who are more in evidence tonight.Maybe it's because the sun is shining, but it's not that warm, is it?
Well, I've got my gloves on. That gives you some indication what it's like here.
We all know your Nesh. This is Vangana. Back it goes to Henry Paul. He carries the ball so well, lifts it over the tackling player, and well, this now is Withers.
Not only that, but he uses the body to shield it away from the defence. They don't know whether it's going to go backwards or sideways.
Henry Paul again. Vangana on the charge. Such a huge man is Joe Vangana, the New Zealand Test prop forward. A real coup for Bradford that they got him. Penalty. Pushing and shoving at the play of the ball. Aaron Raper's not terribly convinced by the decision.
Well, the rule states that you cannot touch, right? He's got to get out of the way, and he really failed to do that. And Dale Fritz, when he did get into a position, he just pushed him. Not allowed to do it. It's no good when you start complaining to the official. He's only doing his job.
There was a definite push from Dale Fritz, and Stuart Raper, Aaron's brother, getting the message down about something or other. And this is going to be a certain 2 points to Bradford, with Henry Paul bang in front, and he never wastes a second and just scoops the ball over the bar. 6-0 to the Bradford Bulls, so that means it's, what, 36 from 37 for Henry now.
I think he was just muttering to himself that why on earth couldn't that have been the first kick right in front. You can see the captain today, Castleford, Aaron Raper, having a little bit of a chat with the official. He is allowed to, of course, in his capacity as the captain.
Right, stay behind,
And Mr. Cummings laying the law down.
Hold on, fellas.
Well, he said he's quite happy to discuss it, but not when he comes roaring in and
No penalties. Come on,
shouting at him the way he did when he awarded the penalty. Now the decision has been explained. We're back in with the match, and that's Fielding's first tackle since he has just come on.
Nearly lost it as well. He did well to recover that.
Tackled by Barry John Mather. This is Bradford again here with Anderson.
He could make a big impact there, and Raper's down.
And Bradford have a penalty.
Hang on. You're coming around the side, you push right into it. You can't see him. Watch where you're going, right?
And again, silly play, this time Gareth Hanford, and this will be
Sort him out. He's
a
on
real
the
shock here. Oh, and you can see there that Raper couldn't get his head to either side. He was forced to put the head right into the body of the big fella, Paul Anderson. So he just couldn't get it to one side. And there's an awful way to do a tackle. He's a tough hombre, though. Aussie, Raper.
Well, they will be desperate to keep him on, because without Vowles and without Mitch Healy, Raper is the playmaker in chief, really. He's the man who offers Castleford some direction tonight, and he also is the captain.
See there again on the replay.
He might have got a clunk on the head from the boot of Paul Anderson as well.
Well, that was an accidental sort of situation, but I think the more concern is the fact that with the impact, what pressure it applies on the spine and the neck region, and safety first. They're doing the right thing. They'll obviously want the doctor just to check him out. In situations like that regarding the spine, you don't mess around. You make sure that the doctor checks it out fully.
Right, wait for his foot.
That's what they are going to do now, and Michael Smith is the man who has come on for him.
Well, both coaches making the changes that could actually swing this game one way or the other. We all know what Big Anderson is capable of. It was ripped out. That actually should be a penalty. There was more than one person in attendance, but Castleford's coach Stuart Raper, he's thrown out Michael Smith, who's a great offloader of the football. This really should be a penalty because the ball is... Oh, now then. No, I take it back. Forshaw has dropped it. And I thought Sykes had knocked it out. Yes, he did. Sykes did on that video replay. It's amazing what a different angle can show you, isn't it?
You really do have to say that Bradford should control the ball. I mean, it was almost a fingernail that flicked at that football then. Here is Peacock. Bradford won't be complaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, but not many fingernails out there, Eddie, because the touch judges check all the players before they leave the dressing room. They can be lethal, long fingernails. Not that you've got any.
It's now with Mackay. Pops the ball back.
Oh, what a great tackle there from Eager. Must be one of the best front-on tacklers in the three quarters throughout Super League.
Mackay again. Henry Paul. This is Michael Withers. Angled run from Withers. Clattered to the ground on the last. Hanford flew in over the top. Shaw got him low down. Robbie Paul. That bounced off a Castleford Tiger's leg, and it's swept up by Michael Smith.
Good work there from the big forward. It was a neat little kick through as well. That was under a lot of pressure. They're all offside.
And they weren't standing square at the play of the ball. And ironic cheers from the Castleford supporters that they have got a decision from Stuart Cummings.
Neat little kick through. Yeah. Robbie knew it was going to cause a lot of confusion, but the big fella Smith reaped it in. Well, now can the Tigers concentrate on more of the game plan? They were being confused and frustrated somewhat. It's obvious that the Bulls quite happy to force the Tigers into a forward battle.
Michael Smith, the man who is on for Aaron Raper, substituting all 8 now in Super League, and well, now a penalty goes against the Tigers, and they'll be getting a little bit rattled about this. Smith adjudged to have held Stuart Fielding down.
Well, it took an eternity.
Well, where's he up for?
Well, what's he holding him with? The ball? Maybe he thinks the lace. Now he's got his left hand there.
Oh, yes, he's got
the jumper there. And the referee has seen it. Oh, that's sheer stupidity. More frustration. Stuart Raper will be losing even more hair. Hasn't got much.
He's got more than most. This is Lowe's on to Robbie Paul. Fielden on the charge.
He can be cruel at times.
Here we go.
Lowe's is the dummy half. Up
Oh, dearie me.
off the chest of Henry Paul. And Lennon has it back for the Tigers.
Far too fancy.
Here's Darren Rogers with the run now, and Rogers turns 27 tomorrow.
No penalties. Wait, Robbie.
He came far too close and far too early and too quickly.
That's two. Now stand with me.
It's a good contest this though, isn't it? 26.5 minutes gone, 6-0. Darren Shaw in possession for the Tigers. I wonder, Phil Clark on the touchline, how does Aaron Raper look? I mean, do you think that is a crucial substitution that Stuart Raper's had to make?
It is a serious blow to them as the ball pops out the back. Another penalty. Discipline just drifting away from either side at the moment. I reckon Brian Noble will be delighted with the way that Bradford are going. As you say, they've had a tough week leading up to this. And this is the culmination of that. But it's the size and power that the Bradford squad have, really, which make them so hard to play against. In the back line, Vicona, Price, Mackay and Gilmore, when they get in at dummy half or take the ball up, they're just too big to handle. And of course they've just brought on Anderson and Field, and those two big fresh guys. Whether or not they can keep it going, that's the real test. They tend to start games in Super League so well. How can they hang on to it?
Lennon to Danny Orr, and Orr feeds Mather but forward.
And you laid it far too long. And the stand off Danny Orr, the crowd don't like it. I think the officials got it right. Not much in it.
You might have noticed while Phil Clark was talking, Steve-O, there was a stat there. We've had 9 penalties in this match already, and a lot of it has been for messing around at the play the ball.
Well, it's up to the man in the middle with a whistle to control that. And maybe Mr. Cummings might be better served to bring both captains together and say, hey, come on, fellas.
Keep working first.
Give a little bit. I'm sure this is just what Bradford wants.
Let's get news of the injured players, Nathan Sykes and also Aaron Raper for Castleford. Bill has all of those details.
The problem's mounting for the Castleford Tigers. Sykes has just limped off with what looks like a groin injury. Barely able to move from the field, in fact, Sykes. And the news of Aaron Raper is that he jarred his shoulder in that tackle earlier on. They're resting it to see whether he should be able to come back on. He's still on the bench, ice on the shoulder, and they're hoping that Aaron Raper at least will be able to return.
That's a great kick from Henry Paul. Richard Gay has to be brave and is.
Well, that's why he's a full back. It was a good shout there by Gay. You could see there that John Wells was also in the vicinity. Needed the chip over as well. That's one way of applying the pressure. And Castleford, they'll have to change their tactics. Okay, they've been disrupted by the loss of their architect, Aaron Raper. But really, they were throwing the ball about with Gay abandoning the opening 10 minutes, and they've just lost their way a bit.
It was an almighty collision then between Dean Sampson, who's on the floor, and Paul Anderson, who's now in the defensive line. And there is Anderson again. The pass is flicked away though, and Mark Lennon regathers for the Tigers. That's the last tackle for the Tigers. And Danny Orr with the kick. Straight down the middle. A good chase here from Eager. Eager's leading the way. Vicona trapped in the in-goal area, but now he's back and over the try line.
But what another good tackle there from Michael Eager. It was a superb kick from Danny Orr.
Well, every time there is any hint of a forward pass now, when the ball is in the arms of the Bradford Bulls, there is a huge scream off the terraces. Henry Paul. It goes wide to Lee Gilmore. Robbie Paul. Henry Paul again. Back to brother Robbie, and Robbie's away down the left-hand side.
Wonderful option there from the two Paul brothers.
Gilmore infield to Withers. Withers then on to Forshaw. Forshaw grounded by Sampson. Last one.
Well, Bradford are keeping the ball alive now, but you can just see that there's not that zip there that you normally see from the Bulls. That will be a scrum down.
Jesse found touch just the right side of the corner post. So it's head and feed to Castleford.
They'll be happy to be in that 6-point lead. Richard Gay, no option but to just let that ball trickle over the whitewash.
Bradford, by the way, the highest point scorers in Super League, though their 40 tries is 4 fewer than Hull. Henry Paul's boot has been critical in that. And Hull with a very important match tomorrow at the Boulevard against London Broncos. Two sides who really fancy their chances of getting into the top 5 this year.
Well, you could see Castleford in that scrum trying to milk the penalty. Moves forward, had his foot on the ball, and was hoping that Bradford would go offside. They actually, Jamie Lowe's had a lunge at it to try to hook it. Well, wonders will never cease. Watch, a hooker trying to hook it.
From the feet of the loose forward. Good ball. Keeping it alive, Castleford. He is eager. Now Rogers. Great play. Danny Orr.
Good work there by Vicona. It had to be as well, but that was outstanding from the Tigers.
Mark Lennon. Gaps opened up for Mark Lennon. That's knocked down to the floor. No, knock on against Henry Paul.
Oh, good work there by Mark Lennon. Speed off the mark. To the dummy and off. He went away. Nice step, good support, and good work there by Henry Paul. That was a try save. It'll be a head and feed for the Castleford Tigers. Stuart Raper somewhat concerned that they failed to score as yet.
And he's come downstairs as well. He's on the touchline now, prowling. Lennon, Richard Gay, trying to skirt round the defence. Henry Paul did well though. Such enthusiasm for the game. Lee Gilmore in attendance as well. This is Dale Fritz.
Well, there's one thing that going across the face of the defence as a fullback Richard Gay did then, and another thing when you've got no support. He was just left on his own.
Danny Orr, orange shirt, splitting forward, eager. Mackay's missed him.
Oh, he's trying to get the ball away in an impossible situation. He really should have perhaps offloaded first. That's great defence though. He works overtime, doesn't he, this Darren Rogers?
They're right on their own try line, Bradford. And Castleford trying to keep them there. That's 3 tackles gone, drawing applause from the crowd inside the jungle. Long ball to Forshaw.
That's a big gamble. Forshaw did well to offload too.
Fielden. Then to Henry Paul. On it goes to Leon Price. Wonderful football now from the Bulls. That was a relieving passage of play.
This is the chance here, you see why Eager trying to get the ball to Rogers. But a great run there by Paul, and then they're just keeping the ball alive. Well, this is exciting stuff.
Gilmore.
Oh, a bit high. He's got it.
He's got them.
That of Hanford, I think. The culprit it is.
Head high.
Little down, he went right over the top. Gilmore was starting to come more and more into this game.
And Henry Paul showing the utmost respect for Castleford, even at this range, although he does have this strong wind at his back. He's having a shot at goal from this penalty.
I think it's more in line to regain the energy and slow the things down. And finding your picture, Stuart Raper, he knows perfectly well that Bradford are playing a pretty tight pattern game, controlling it right. I'm sure that with this wind to the advantage of the Tigers in the second half, that Raper will change the tactics. Good kicking in Danny Orr, but this could hurt.
Yes, 5 minutes from half-time. Chance here for Henry Paul. He is a magnificent kicker, isn't he? Henry Paul with that penalty. Bradford Bulls increase their lead. It's 8 points to 0. And it's the Paul brothers show at the moment. In fact, it's Henry Paul's show at the moment. All 8 points.
Ably supported by the forward pack. They are in no hurry. Neither are Castleford, actually, to be fair. Having not played for nearly a fortnight, they could be they could claim they're a little bit ring rusty.
The ball hangs in the wind and is gathered in. Back comes Michael Withers. He gives it to the big fella Paul Anderson. Shieldon takes over for Bradford. Play on because he wasn't grounded. The ball carrying arm was not on the floor.
Well, then who's got this? Is it Gilmore or is it Mather?
Gilmore's got it, and it's a zero tackle because it was touched in flight, wasn't it? Forshaw. Henry Paul, Jamie Peacock.
Looking to get away with that one. That, it was on, wasn't it? It was only Richard Gay, and he knows it. He had one man in front, and we all know the capabilities of Robbie. Good offload by Peacock. He should have taken it.
He's annoyed with himself, is the Bradford captain.
And I think Brian Noble, his coach, might be as well. Just before the half-time break, it offers the Tigers the opportunity to launch one of many attacks that they've done, and full credit to this Bulls defence. They've scrambled back well.
Well, what would Castleford give for a try right on the stroke of half-time? Brian Noble was telling us last night he knew his men were in for a real examination here at the Jungle, and so it has been, and he'd be delighted they lead 8-0 approaching half-time. Here's Hanford. Lennon gives it a bit of width to Orr. Harlan, then to Eager. Eager dabs the ball forward, but there's a phalanx of Bradford defenders, and the ball went backwards.
Well, I don't know why the crowd are shouting at the referee. See, the big fella Mackay had definitely knocked on, but it was going backwards, so there's no problem there. I'm not so sure that that was the best option so early in the tackle count by Michael Eager. I think that I wanted to keep possession a little bit longer than that.
Henry Paul onto Robbie, and the call on his inside came from Bradford. Mather got the tackle in eventually. This is Vicona. Mather's after him again, but he releases the pass to Gilmore, and Gilmore steps out of one challenge, runs flat, now straightens it up, and it's a dangerous tackle by Dale Fritz.
You see, you're not allowed to do that. Lift to put your arm inside in between the two legs. That's what he did, and he'll be putting on report on this, I'm sure, and rightly so.
All right, you've gone underneath, you've lifted. Now the issue is whether you've actually dumped him. All right, so somebody else will decide that. It's on report. Okay.
So Dale Fritz goes on report. He will await the decision.
It can be a frustrating game, Eddie, at most times, but I think Castleford are really just falling for the old five-card trick from Bradford. Always lost it.
Yes, Fielding lost that.
I think it might have been knocked out, though. Either way, John Wells comes up with it.
And Bradford now offside. Danny Orr with the penalty, and with less than a minute to go, an opportunity for Castleford to get on the scoreboard before half-time. Lennon, Danny Orr, Harland, and Harland is grabbed and wrestled to the ground by Jamie Peacock.
They'll only have about 2 more tackles to go.
And Harland is furious with the referee, thought that should have been a penalty his way. Well, 25 seconds remain. Dale Fritz, the dummy half. Lennon, Hanford, back to Lennon, good play. On to Danny Orr. The Bradford defence is marshalled. Bit of width here for Smith. Now Eager gets it away to Rogers. Back it goes to Orr. And Orr dabs it over the top. Was he taken out? Yes, he was.
They'll take the 2. It's half-time. They will go for the 2 points on offer. They'll probably get sin bin for this professional foul. Neat chip back into the left. It wasn't Anderson. I don't think Anderson actually got to him.
Well, there's 2 of them. I think Anderson was involved on the fringe of it.
He was there, but I don't think he got to him.
Anyway,
He's saying he hasn't touched him. We'll find that this is Stuart Fielding. Yeah, I think Stuart Fielding is the culprit. And Mr. Anderson is letting the referee know.
Outside, Dean, please.
Well, will this be a gift 2 points?
Okay.
Well, for all their spirit and endeavour, I suppose Castleford would deserve something from this first half. 8-0 at the moment, and Danny Orr with a vital kick. This will lift their spirits during the half-time break. Danny Orr makes no mistake. That's half-time. Stuart Raper first into the dressing rooms, followed quickly by his opposite number, Brian Noble. Danny Orr's penalty, all that the Tigers have to show. Robbie Paul's brother Henry has scored the 8 points for the Bradford Bulls.